Let's get straight to it. 2012 Chrysler 300. This is the 3.6 liter engine. So today I'm replacing the front rotors, and this is what your front rotors should look like. I have my vehicle in the air and I have my jack stand in place. So keep in mind, these front tires do spin once they're in the air. So if you're not using the impact like I am, you may want to break these free before you raise the vehicle up in the air. So if you're using a breaker bar or a four-way, definitely get these studs loose before raising the vehicle in the air. So once we get the tire off, we can see our caliper and caliper bracket very clearly. And right back here is the bolts for it. So there's two ways we can get this off. So we can take the whole unit off together as one piece by removing this bolt here and the one down here at the bottom. Or we can remove it one by one. We could remove the caliper first by removing this bolt and the one down here. Remove the whole caliper. Then remove the bracket separate as a separate unit by removing those bolts. But since we're not removing the brake pads or changing the brake pads, I'm just going to remove it from right here and the one down there and just remove the whole unit together. So these bolts are 21 millimeter. So I'm going to use a 6-point socket to get this off. That way I don't round this head. So I have my breaker bar coming out to the right just like this. So now I can get my leverage and break this bolt free, and the one down there at the bottom as well. So now I have my breaker bar on the bottom one down there. So this one here is broken free now. Once I have both of these broken free with the breaker bar, I just use a regular ratchet and finish getting these out. So I'm gonna use this breaker bar here with this leverage and get that bottom one broken free now. So now I can use a regular ratchet and finish getting these out. All right, so this is what the bolts look like. They're not in terrible shape, but if you want, take a wire wheel and clean these up before putting them back in. So you're gonna have to pry this off. So get a pry bar or a big flathead and come between here and wedge this off a little bit. Be careful of this brake line right here. You don't want to put too much pressure on that brake line. So once you get this apart, then you want to pull from down here and get this off and then hang it up here. All right, so I got it off and I'm just using the regular hook right now to hang it up here. You see there's two holes right here, or you can just hang it on the spring, and the other side goes through the caliper. So, and I'm leaving my brake pads in. See, my brake pads are still good, so it's no need to change the brake pads. You can also use baling wire or chicken wire if you don't have a hook, but do not use a do not use zip tie on this. This is going to be too heavy. This is a heavy caliper to begin with, then with the brake pads. So zip tie probably, unless you have a heavy duty zip tie, but don't use a basic zip tie on this. So once we get this off, now we can get this rotor off here. So since we're replacing it, we can hit on the sides, but I would always start on the inside and just hit around on the edges here before damaging the actual rotor. So just like this. Just like that, and now it's free. Take that off. All right, let's grab our new rotor. Let's get that on there. Now, of course, there's no screws or anything to hold this in, so you just have to do your best to hold this while putting this caliper back on. So that's pretty much the next step. We're gonna get this caliper back down, set it right back how it was on here. You shouldn't have to press this piston in any, but if you're having a real hard time, if you, for some reason your old caliper was really worn down, you may have to press this down a little bit. If not, just go ahead and put that back on and get our two bolts back in. So just in case you have to press this in a little bit, if you can get a C-clamp in there, so I have a little bit of space. If you put it on this way, you don't really have a lot of space here between to go down, but you only have to go down a little bit anyways. You only got to press this in just a small amount. So in case you do have a hard time putting this on, this is the steps to getting this pressed in. All right, so now I'm gonna tighten these 2 bolts back on. So the main parts is done, of course. We got our rotor on. So once we getting these 2 tightened down, that's pretty much it for the main job. All right, so I got both of those bolts all the way back down tight. So our rotor is officially on. So you can see it's still moving around, of course, because there's nothing holding it on. So let's put our tire back on, and that should complete the job. All right, so the rotors are officially changed. So all we have to do now is lower the vehicle and the job is done. So that's how you change your rotors on a 2013 Chrysler 300.